What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. So in today's video I do want to go over the entire hot topic of the lovely resetting problem, which I would probably say right now is going to be a huge issue, whether it's going to be in like grand races or even like the summits. We do know on top of that though that many people are most likely going to notice a lot of players talking about the resetting issue going on in this game right now. I also have to admit, by the way, I really have not seen much on this, or at least I haven't really seen anybody doing this in a grand race. Recently, we all do know the grand race was around a 25% boost, of course like the end of December going into January. And my goodness, has anyone else noticed how fast time is actually going? Like, we are in 2024. It really is going to be insane how fast time does go. Like, can you slow it down slightly? I'm trying to play some Motorfest here. Maybe? I don't know. But I did have to admit, though, I was playing a lot of these grand races around that week time that it was going to be a 25% boost. You did, of course, get a lot of money and XP while doing the grand races then. I also did manage to go up around 60 plus levels in around 5 to 6 days. Probably going to sound a bit insane, I do think. But one thing I did notice, though, is I did not really see anybody actually abusing the resetting issue going on right now. And of course, looking at other YouTube channels like Militia Gaming and stuff, I'm like, man, is it like really that bad? I also did watch Goliath's video as well, going over like the issue with like the wheel mode thing. I'm going to touch more on that later in this video. But my goodness, though, the resetting thing really is going to be a big issue if many players are seeing it. So I was thinking, though, maybe it's going to be like a selective type of thing to where you basically don't encounter it every single match you are in. Do let me know in the comments below if you guys are seeing lots of people do this. Now, the next thing I am going to say is probably going to spark some different mixed opinions. I have to admit, guys, if you are spamming the resets around corners, it isn't going to help you be a better driver. It is also not going to help you get any better. I would say a lot of players are like, well, it's in the game, like I'm going to use it. I understand that, but at the same time, like, if you are doing that on every single corner and basically, like, exploiting that said issue going on, like, we can all agree it's probably going to be a big problem. And a lot of players might end up using that as, like, a crutch or something like that to where they have to run it. And if something drastic does happen to this entire thing in the future, a lot of players are not going to know how to corner correctly instead of going into the objective, right into the guardrail, blocking the entire road. My goodness. Now, I do understand to a certain extent that yes, it is going to be a thing in a game that you are obviously going to want to use. I do understand how it's like going to be something in that game, so like, why not use it? I also do understand though that you do not want to use something that it does end up becoming a crutch. And this is probably going to be an issue because if you are constantly relying on that to go around a corner, you are most likely not going to know how to go around them without it. And of course, as I did mention before, it's not going to help you become a better driver. I do know a whole point about doing like grand races or like summits is to of course get better at like cornering or like being faster in certain areas compared to everyone else. And of course, if you are actually doing that and you are resetting on that said corner, it is then going to spawn you into the road a bit quicker. So yeah, it's going to make you a bit quicker. That's awesome. Thumbs up emoji, man. You're going to be faster in that corner. Now, the thing is, if they do happen to change that and you cannot go around that corner the exact same way you were before, my goodness, it's going to be an absolute nightmare for many players. So I really would recommend not using the resetting thing as often. I do know for some reason, though, apparently it is going to be worse in the Grand Race compared to the Summit. And what I do mean by this, by the way, is yes, you are going to see a lot of people doing this in PvP. From what I have heard, though, in the Summits, it's not going to be as useful. So, of course, a lot more players are probably going to be spamming this a lot more in PvP. Because, yeah, we gotta get top 5, top 3, spamming, resetting. Cool. Now, if somebody was to ask me, though, like, Block, what would be a good way to fix this? Like, how can they make this balanced? That way players can't be spamming this every 5 seconds around a corner. Now, if I was to answer this, though, I would say the best way is if you were to use something like the reset thing. Sure, you can obviously have this in the game, but it is most likely going to have a punishment if you are using it that often. For example, let's say you might end up going toward like a turn, before you would then run into the guardrail and spawn right in the middle of the road, and then you can obviously go on your merry way and head to the end of the event. But hold on one second, hear me out. What if there was a way if you actually kept spamming the reset or like back on track thing? It would basically spawn you back into the road like it normally would, but instead of instantly being able to drive away, maybe they can make it so you would then have to sit there for around 3 to 5 seconds. I feel like something like that would definitely allow players not to keep spamming it. I have also heard something like this is going to be in Forza. Do let me know, guys, if something like that is going to be in that game, because I think it would do great on here. Now, in the span of playing Grand Races for around that entire week, of course going after level 100, I was noticing a big trend on many events. Now, that's going to be like the hairpin corners. I, of course, was going to be the normal person going around the corner. I would then look to my left and basically see Evil Knievel pretty much flying into that corner as fast as he can, like opening a coffee, and then of course looking for the nearest porta potty nearby, like, good luck, bro? Yeah, I don't think so. But I did notice, though, they basically kept going after that said corner every time like that, and at certain points I actually was to get hit by them, knocking me into the guardrail. They're then going to spawn in, and they're pretty much going to be on their way like nothing ever happened. I really do think it is going to be a big issue having this in there, and I really do feel like, guys, like I said, it might honestly spark a lot of mixed opinions, but make it so there's going to be some type of delay when you actually keep spamming the resetting thing on the road. That way it's probably going to make a lot of players not use it as often. Now, I do understand if like something happens, you might end up flying off the road. We've all been there. Or flying off a cliff. Also been there. But if you were to use that, though, maybe it could be something to where if you keep using the resetting thing over and over, it's then going to have a timer. And of course, if you actually use it, it's then going to like punish you and make you sit there. That can also be a good way to maybe balance it out. I also do want to know what you guys think about this entire resetting issue in the comments below. I am also planning on going over some of the other exploits and the said cheating going on right now. I do know a lot of people are talking about like the wheel mode and like, you know, all the other issues with players being insanely quick or like using certain exploits in the game, so do stay tuned for that in the near future. Again, guys, let me know what you think about this entire resetting issues in the comments below, and what do you think is the best solution to make this better.